Hello, excuse me, and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we gather together every day at noon Eastern Daylight Time. Last day for Eastern Daylight Time, by the way. Remember to set your clocks back tonight. Tomorrow we'll just be on plain old Eastern Standard Time. But we gather together at noon Eastern Daylight Time or Eastern Standard Time to create a sanctuary, to love and support each other through this darkness. We started out with the darkness of the pandemic, but I think the darkness has grown with the with racism and the economy and as we lead up to this election, oh my God, the anxiety and the sense of anxiousness that so many of us are feeling. We just it's just sometimes hard to can be overwhelming at times. It certainly can be for me. I mean, there's just so much at stake in this election about the future of our democracy that we can't, because we care. That's the thing. That's We might be feeling anxious, but that is the shadow of a deeper goal within us, because we're so afraid something's going to happen to something we care about so deeply. We care about each other. We care about this country. And we all want to get out from under this darkness. We want to get into the light again. And that's why we come together in this sanctuary every Saturday to just share what we're feeling, share what's going on, and lift our spirits. Find some brightness, find some love, find some excitement inside of all this. So I'm going to ask you, if you're joining me today, please just check into the um, in the chat below and let me know you're here and just say hello. And if you want to add any comments or thoughts or questions during my during my speech, not really a speech, it's just a little talk today. Please add them. It's always great to have some dialogue versus just me going into a monologue. But today I wanted to share something that I just think is so much on everybody's plate right now, and that's just feeling a sort of uncertainty, this anxiety we all have right now at some level about what's going to happen next week. Let's just don't be beating around the bush about it. Let's just talk about how we're feeling and what's coming up and why we're feeling this way, and how together we can help each other through this. That's the whole point of this live show every day, is to really uh, create an opportunity to share what's going on for us. And it's a difficult, challenging time, and it's painful. And earlier this week, I was with a couple of my Mankind Project brothers. We do shadow work, which is work around the ego, if you will. And we started out just talking about we were sitting around a fire in my backyard. And we started just talking about the current state of affairs. And all of us were pretty gloomy, having seen the night before this horrific horror show of a of I don't know what it was. It was this. Well, it was a ceremoniously. It was ceremoniously uh, bringing in Amy as the new Supreme Court justice on the front steps of the White House with flags and lights, and it was reminiscent of the videos of Nazi Germany, of nationalism, and it was scary. And then we realized it's created like it was that those videos were created back in those days. They're created to invoke fear. And we decided as shadow workers that we're going to just look into that shadow. We're going to mine some gold in that shadow. And that's what shadow work's about. Shadow is the negative of the light. It is the negative of love. It is fear. And the only thing that can keep us from the light within ourselves is fear around something. And there is no shortage of fear of the unknown right now. That's the truth. And when we see pictures like that, and particularly me being a gay man, of electing someone to the Supreme Court who is so uh, such an ideologue on against abortion, against women's right to choose, against gay rights, against so many things that we stand for in this country. It's scary. And also, not to mention, the way they went about putting her into office was a scam, and it was. I mean, it just and it made me feel bad about all the Republicans who are supporting this whole measure. Where's their sense of value and sense of of, of, of patriotism, really, and love for this country? That's what I think. That's what really got to me is the lack of love for this country by the Republicans. They could have stopped this. They could have stopped it. But they chose to go along with their party over the country. And that's painful. Because the message I got from them is they don't care about me. That's the message I get. They don't care about me. All they care about is their own positions of power. Well, we decided to mine some gold out of all that story. And we decided, well, who does care about us? And then we began to move into gratitude. Grateful for all the wonderful, courageous men and women, particularly Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who are stepping up, courageously stepping up, speaking truth to power, to move this country back into a place of love and compassion and empathy and lead from those qualities that make good leaders. Empathy seems to be the theme right now, because we have over 230, I think it was 230,000 I saw last night, Americans have died to the coronavirus. And yet we have a president going around the country at this moment spreading lies, telling people it's no big deal, that doctors are actually in it for the take. I mean, this is unimaginable in so many ways, and it can quickly get us anxious and angry. I mean, I guess getting angry right now thinking about it. But when I can look at that anger and look at that fear and go inside it to see what is it, what's behind it, for me and for those men, what's behind it is a deep love for this country and the people around the world and our fellow brothers and sisters. That's the gold inside all that. So as we began to mine that gold, we said, why don't we just, instead of predicting some horrible future, because the thing is, this is the truth. We do not know what is going to bring up tomorrow. We don't know. We will never know. And the ego always wants to know. The shadow wants to know tomorrow, and it's going to always predict the future, and it's always going to predict something negative. It's always going to predict, because that's the nature of the shadow. That's the nature of darkness. Darkness is dark. So don't get mad at the darkness for being dark. Instead, shine your light on it. And when the light within us can accept the darkness within ourselves and in the world with unconditional love, we will begin to move in peace. At least if it happened for us, it happens in the individual, in the group, in the collective. That's what we're here today to talk about. So as we began to shine some light, meaning began to tell this story of the future, we decided we're going to predict a landslide win for Joe and Kamala. We decided we're going to predict into the future a huge win and takeover of the Democrats in the Senate, the House, and the White House. So the Democrats are going to be in power. The Republicans had their chance, but they have blown it. They have not taken care of this country. Let's just face the facts. They have enabled the president to do a tremendous amount of damage to this country. They've had ample times along the way in impeachment to stop him, and they refuse to do it. Instead, they're protecting themselves. And that's painful. So the Democrats right now The ones who clearly do care about us are about to take over. And that is exciting. And then once we decide that they're going to be running the whole show, what are all the other good? Well, then we started thinking about all the incredible, brilliant, loving, compassionate, brave servants that came up through the last year or two in the Democratic Party who want to step in and lead. People like Peter Buttigieg. We said, wow, wouldn't he be a fantastic Secretary of State? Wouldn't he be? I mean, here he is. Here he is, articulate. He served in the military. He is probably one of the brightest, most articulate men I can think of right now. And he's a gay man, married. He's diplomatic. What a wonderful Secretary of State he would make. And then we start thinking about how grateful we were for Andrew Cuomo during the early days of the pandemic, right here in New York and New Jersey, and all that he did to help move this part of the country and part of the world out of the pandemic. I thought, wow, wouldn't he be a fantastic attorney general? Put some power back in that job that means something. Lead from a place of authority and truth and love and compassion and justice. Wouldn't that be exciting? And then we thought about Stacey Abrams from Atlanta and what a bright star she is. There's a number of cabinet positions in which she could serve beautifully and powerfully. And I got to say, there's some fierce women out here right now who are loving fiercely, and they're going to lead with a fierce love for this country and themselves and each and us like you've never seen in your life. And that's exciting. So we just had a lot of fun sitting around the fire thinking of all these people and putting them in different cabinet positions. But I think our favorite one was this. We thought Jon Stewart would be a great chief White House press secretary. Can you imagine? He's articulate. He knows the political system, and adding some humor in all this darkness, some real humor. Someone who knows how to add humor in this darkness. Wouldn't that be a joy? So what we discovered was by simply changing the narrative from one of doom and gloom and outcome, this is going to be the worst thing that happened, which is what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to feel fear, and they want you to feel fear. People who are doing what's called fear mongering are trying to make us feel fear because they know it paralyzes us. But we're not paralyzed. I'm not paralyzed. You're not paralyzed. We are voting. I think I saw in the news, which I've been watching just in little bits because I want to keep up what's going on, that the voter turnout, the pre-election day turnout in the state of Texas is already larger than the total turnout in 2016. Which means what? We're going to take that state. It's going to be a blue state on Tuesday. It is going to be a blue state on Tuesday, and they're going to have a Democratic senator. And that's exciting. Because the guy in that house right now, he doesn't care a thing about you or me. And we're going to have a Democratic senator in the state of Georgia as well, my home state. And that's exciting. We are going to get the crooks out of the White House and out of the Senate and out of our legislature. On both parties. I just don't know that many in the Democratic Party. I'm sure that there's some in there. I don't know. I'm not trying to be part. I'm not going down part. I'm just talking about people's behavior and how they have shown up. And in the last 4 years, the Republicans have not shown up for me. And I'm voting them out of office. I want leaders in this country who are showing up for me and you to make a better world. And that's exciting because we got them. And they want to step up. And they want to do their job. And they want to participate. And we're going to put them there. So let's get excited about that. Let's get excited about building a bright future in this country. So if you haven't voted, get out and vote today. Don't put it in the mailbox because Trump and the Republicans have been playing all kind of shenanigans with our postal system, which we're going to put back into uh, place as soon as we get back in power, because we got to be able to get mail around the country in a good way, particularly around an election. I mean, just think about it. All of the shenanigans the Republicans have been playing just to keep you from voting. Why would you, as my fellow who are voting Republican, why would you vote for a leader who has to cheat to win? That's it. Why would you vote for a person to lead this country who has to cheat to win? That's my question. I don't know. And I've got friends and family who are voting for him. And I know that I don't know where they became admirers of people who cheat and lie. I don't know if they just don't see it. I don't know. But it's not my business. My business is to do what I do and help you understand that there are people coming into power who are going to take care of us. And that's what matters. And that feels good, doesn't it? Feels good when you talking about good things happening, creating new social and economic systems for the benefit of every single human being, regardless of your color, your race, your sexual orientation. A place that loves and respects and appreciates every human being on the planet. I am ready for that. I am so ready for that. And that's what I'm talking about, folks. So when you start seeing things on the news that are gloomy and dark, allow yourself to feel it. Don't resist the feelings of fear and the shame and whatever comes up from that. Feel it, and then feel deeper into it and say, what's the truth here? Why do I even feel fear? I feel fear because this threatens my democracy. And I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to run that man out of the White House. We don't have those kind of spectacles anymore in the future. That's not what this country is about. And that's exciting. This country is about love and prosperity and truth. And we've got so much here. We American people are truly some of the most loving, compassionate, generous people on the planet. And my theme for now and going into the new year is reimagining generosity. You want to create a bright future for yourself today? Sit down in your journal and just reimagine from a place of abundance, a place of truth, what generosity can look like in this world for you individually. If we lived in a world that was grounded in abundance and truth and prosperity instead of scarcity and not enough and fear. I mean, that's toxic. Just begin to reimagine for yourself and your family what it would feel like. And write that out. Draw out the picture. Create the vision. What it would feel like if we lived in a world where everybody, including you and your family and everybody in your family, was loved and respected and appreciated just for being themselves. Wow. That's how we create a bright future together. And that's what we're doing right now. And I'm so grateful for all of you and myself and people that I know and don't know that just are opening their hearts and having the courage and the resilience to stand up and speak truth to power. And we do that by voting. So if you haven't voted, we're taking our ballots over to the ballot box today. They're all filled out. My husband and I are taking those votes over to the ballot box and putting them in the ballot box today, and you do the same thing. And if you're living in one of those states where it's a little iffy about when your vote will be counted, whether it be counted postmarked, don't take a chance. This is what you can do. I heard this last night. You can show up in person and say, even if you've already sent your vote, you can show up in person and make that mail-in ballot invalid and vote in person, and it will take precedent. So create a plan to make sure your vote is counted, because there are some shenanigans going on that we know about, and you're going to have to just do some extra work to get there. That might mean, like we're doing, don't find out where in your county, in your area, where in your area are the ballot boxes, the safe ballot boxes. Because I've heard there's states where they're putting out fake ballot boxes, for God's sakes. And you want to vote for people who have to cheat to win? Wow. No wonder that feels bad. That is scary. Like when they cheated to put that woman into the Supreme Court. It feels bad when people cheat on you. When we're cheated, it feels bad. No one likes to be cheated. So don't be cheated. Make your vote count. Get out and vote. And let's have a landslide, blue wave across this country like the world is. Let's let the world know just how loving, how compassionate, how much we value life and human beings and our democracy and our freedoms to the entire world. Let's be that voice to the world. Let's be that message to the world on Tuesday. So if you haven't voted, get out and vote. And let's create a very, very bright future together. Now let's meditate on that idea. And if you're still feeling some anxiety, which could be, if you're feeling some anxiety or fear, welcome it. Welcome it right now and we meditate and feel your way into that feeling. Don't push it away. I'm giving you a little instructions for meditating today. If you're still feeling anxiety, if you're feeling some fear of the future, you're not alone. But if we can collectively sit in the discomfort of that fear and anxiety and feel our way deeper within ourselves, I think you're going to find a bright light of love and compassion for yourself and for others, even those that are creating the pain. I know I have. I know I can get really angry at some of the political leaders right now. I mean, I can get really angry. But when I step in that angry and I look at what I can get into a place of compassion as well. And I get into a place of action. So let's just, today in our meditation, let's just feel what we're feeling and accept it and love it. Maybe we're feeling joy. Maybe we're feeling joy because it's just finally coming to a close. Whatever you're feeling, they are valid and they are welcome in the next 20 minutes. And you welcome them into your heart. And as you feel deeper into those feelings, surrender any beliefs, any judgments, any stories that you're carrying, good or bad. And that's just it. Don't hold on to anything. Just let it all go. And you'll fall into the emptiness of stillness. That deep, still, powerful voice within us. The being, the life force within us. It is within every single one of us. And we meditate and we do contemplative prayer to create an intimate relationship with that divine nature of ourselves. So let's meditate. Let's meditate. It's a 20-minute meditation with 4 repeating bells, what we call interval bells. And the purpose of those interval bells, and you'll hear them, and you'll hear me, and I'll say something when they come up. The purpose of those interval bells and the sound of my voice is to wake us up from trances, wake us up from thoughts. What happens is as we're sitting in meditation, a thought goes across our forehead, and our brains, oh, that's a good thought. I like that thought. Let's take it and follow it down a rabbit hole. And all of a sudden, we're not meditating anymore. We think we're meditating, but we're actually in a deep thought trance. So when you hear the bell and you hear me say, wake up, it's to wake us up out of that thought trance and to reset and fall back into stillness. No thought. No thought. So raise your arms up in the air. Feel the life force. What raise your arms? Life. There's a life force within us. Feel it tingling in your fingers, feel it tingling in your toes. Get to know and get to intimate with this precious moment in your life when you're alive. Feel the aliveness in your body right this minute in whatever way you can. Just get still and feel the tingling, the sense of life flowing inside your body. And begin to soften the mind. And as you soften the mind, allow yourself to let go. To let go of thoughts. To let go of all your opinions. To let go of all your judgments and stories about me, about yourself, about this election, about our leaders, about COVID-19. Let go of every thought and opinion and belief you have about this world. And fall back deeply into love. Unconditional love, the truth of who we are. No thought, no control, no belief systems. Just falling back into the mystery of life itself. The great stillness of the unknown. The unknown that has created everything in the world. That's a big power, and we all have it. And let's allow ourselves to forget this world and fall more deeply into the only thing that's real, and that is life within us. Some call it God. Some call it the universe. I call it the wise, Joy, the wise woman. Whatever you call, allow yourself to move and fall more deeply into that space of no thought. And if you're feeling something, as you begin to quiet the mind, don't think about what you're feeling, feel what you're feeling. If you're feeling fear, what does fear feel like? Maybe close your eyes and feel all feelings, all emotional feelings are stored in our body somewhere. Find out what you're feeling right now, and embrace it and allow it to take you deeper inside yourself. If it's a depression, don't call it depression. Don't call it anything. Feel it. What does this feeling feel like that you've been calling depression? Have your own unique expression of depression, not a concept of it. And you'd be surprised at what you're going to find. When you embrace your own experience of depression and anxiety, you'll get to know yourself. Again, let go of any concepts and beliefs and opinions you have about these feelings and just feel them. What are you feeling right now? Don't name it. Feel it. Explore it. Get to know it. As Rumi says in his famous poem, The Guest House, welcome them all as a guest house and get to know them. Allow the sound of the bell, the sound of my voice, and the sound of my cough to wake us up from any trance, any thought trances. Let them go. Soften the mind and feel your way deeply inside yourself again. Allow the sound of the bell and the sound of my voice to wake us up from any thought trances and let them go. Feel what you're feeling without a label and fall deeply inside yourself. That still, powerful place within. Allow the sound of that bell in my voice to wake us up from any thoughts, any stories that have occupied our mind, and let them go and soften the mind and fall more deeply into love within yourself. Open your heart a little wider. And there's the final bell. Allow yourself to come back into the space. Give yourself a big hug for having the courage to sit still and feel what you're feeling and get to know yourself. And now I suggest if you want to, take a few minutes and go get your journal and just write about how you're feeling. And then write a story about a vision of the world you want to live in, whatever that is. What is the vision of the world you want to live in? And write that story in great detail. How are you feeling? What are you doing? How are you relating to others? How are people relating to you? What are you doing to add value, to make a contribution? Even better, what could you do today? What could you do today, right now, to make a contribution from a place of generosity and gratitude to make a difference in somebody's life? May love and prosperity prevail.